Hey everyone, sorry for the long hiatus on videos. Unfortunately, I've just been too busy to keep up with it. Recording and editing and everything else. I just haven't really had the opportunity to sit down and do it, which is a shame. I haven't even really driven the Freelander much in the last month. I noticed there's a couple of leaks, etc. So I just wanted to park it up, get the work done, and just get it back on the road, so I could then focus on videos again. So I did record the one I'm doing today, which is the IRD. I noticed there was a leak from that, and I didn't want to risk that at all. So I pulled it up, and it just leaked for a week or two whilst I didn't even drive it. But I fixed that now. It's left oil left in there, which is good, which is why I didn't want to risk driving it. So I've and the fill bolt was knackered on it from I guess someone who's previously worked on it. It was basically round, so I ended up using thread lockers, etc. But all that's explained in the video. But yeah, I just wanted to explain, like, look, sorry it's been so long since I did my last video. I've just had to just knuckle down and just fix a few things, and unfortunately I couldn't get videos for them. Um, so yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. I'm going to get back on track now. It's back on the road. I'm driving it, and like you say, hopefully I can do a fair few more videos coming up over winter. It's not ideal. It's quite cold doing work over winter, but yeah, there's not a whole lot left to do. I've got this IRD video that I'm doing now. I've got the crank pulley coming up. I've got a video on the UJs that go on the prop. Sorry about the hiatus. We're going to get back on track now. I've got sort of 4 or 5 videos lined up. And yeah, let's crack on with the IRD. Hey guys, so I've got another video for you today. It's going to be hopefully draining and refilling the IRD on the Freelander 1. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be filling up the IRD. Hopefully, in the other Freelanders, mine, the IRD fill plug has rounded off and is almost impossible to get out. I've tried with obviously normal sockets, I just can't do it. I've tried with sort of a couple of grips, like mole grips, etc., and I just cannot get enough grip on them to undo it. So unfortunately, we're going to have to be using some rounded head removers. So I'm going to try a couple of different methods today. I've got this kit, which is sort of the internal thread. I don't know if you can see on the video, it's going to be a bit difficult to show on the camera. But there's like a thread inside the socket. So that's the one I'm going to try first. Effectively just thread it on anti-clockwise and undo it as you, well, basically undo it like you normally would using one of these. So I'm going to try that one first, just I'm hoping that's going to be the least damaging. I did order a replacement socket, replacement bolt, sorry, but it hasn't arrived unfortunately in time for doing this, and I need to use the vehicle, so I'm unfortunately have to put that bolt back in, even if only temporarily for a day or two. The next set is this sort of style. So it's like a couple of sort of star-headed bits. It looks almost like a curved Torx bit, I suppose you could say. So that's going to be the next method. They sort of chew into the head a bit more. But hopefully if they can get grip, we can get it undone with one of those. And then the final method, if it comes to it, is I've got from APD, they sent me out this really nice kit. It's these internal threads. So that's a bit more extreme. You'd have to drill into the center of that bolt, thread that in and undo it using that. That's probably the last resort. I don't really want to be drilling into it, but if it comes to it, obviously we'll have to do that. Now I don't have an impact gun, so we would be using ratchets, etc. With these, so I'm going to have to try and get it on by hand, just sort of threading it on a little bit if I can with those first ones, or tapping them on with a hammer, and then going at them with a ratchet. So let's crack on and see what we can get. Okay, so I appreciate this is probably not the most spacious area to be recording in, but if you follow the prop to the front of the vehicle, so this is the front of my prop going into the IRD. The bolt is this one here, and I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. As you can see, it is pretty rounded. It's got very slight head on it, but as soon as you try and get any grip with a standard socket, unfortunately, any kind of resistance, it just slips. So we're going to have to take a bit more extreme measures today, like I said. Just need to service it and drain it, etc. Hopefully this will be quite useful for you if this is rounded off and you're just trying to give it a service. I'll try and show you the fill plug in a moment, but here we go. It's that one that you can kind of see at the bottom there. Luckily this sump guard comes with a panel that I can drop to get access to that quite easily to drain it. But yeah, for now we're just going to be trying to get this bolt undone. So this is our first one, which is that threaded one. So we've got a sort of thread inside there. We're going to try and get this on. It's an 18.5. This is normally a 19, but obviously we've got a slightly rounded head. So we're going to try and see if this gets any purchase. I don't know if we'll be able to do it with hand without an impact gun really, but okay, we've actually got a bit of purchase there already. I don't know if it's dead. It looks quite straight. Okay. That's as tight as I'm going to get it by hand. So now I'm going to have to attempt to go at it with a ratchet and an extension and see if we can get this undone on the first attempt. That would be a phenomenal... Yeah, that's pretty tight on there. So that would be a great time of luck if this works straight away. Okay, so I've had to change the angle slightly, sorry. I can't hold the camera whilst doing this part, but I've got the extension. So this is just a long extension to make it easier to get past this subframe element. I'm just going to get it on there and try and wind it by hand a little bit. So I'll get a bit more force through this than I would just the ratchet. There we go, yeah, I can feel it. That's biting in now. And I'm going to attempt to guide it with the ratchet. So that's now in there, staying up there. The bar is nicely fixed on. So let's go at it with the ratchet and see what we get. God blimey, that's tight. Oh, this was definitely done up with an impact gun. Oh, bloody hell. Well, I've got it to bite and it has eaten to the end of the bolt and it hasn't chewed it up. It's on there solid. It's not, well, the extension's moving, but the actual bit on the head isn't moving on that end. So it's in, but getting this to turn. Let's try and get a bit more. Hey guys, so I carried on going out that bolt with that ratchet and I just could not get it to move. So I've made a few calls and I've called in the heavy artillery. So we've got one of the impact guns now, so we're going to go at it with one of these and see if we can get it out now. So that bolt, that threaded socket is on there pretty solid, so I'm confident in using this one on there now and not wrecking it, so let's see what happens. Okay, so we're back underneath again. Just going to use the short extension maybe. It might give me enough length to get to it. There we go, just enough. Then you've got a torch, have you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Very slowly turning. He's out. Okay, so now that we've got that out, we're going to have to drain it via the plug that's there, which I believe is a 22. The steel sump guard that I've got, thankfully, comes with this little tray unit here. So you can just undo this bolt here. It's not the longest bolt in the world. Nope. So now we've got that flap up, we should be able to gain access to that. So if I bring this in underneath here, you can see the bolt there. That's going through the flap, and that is a 21. Sorry, I believed it was a 22. But hopefully this one isn't all that tight, like the last one. So, looking from the back is probably the easiest. There we go. Oh, knuckles! That's off. with it, but it's off.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Ow. You alright?
Yeah. Right, hopefully it doesn't hit too much of this. Actually, I think that's out there. Haha!
Manky. But
Yeah.
not full of metal. Is that it? Oh.
Something tells me that wasn't 1.1 litres.
Oh.
Right, so I've just tightened up the drain plug now, so I've just tightened up to sort of 25 newton meters or so. Do that split. So the next part is going to be refilling it. So now that's in, we've got the pump, so it's just a little 1 litre pump. These are 1.1 litres, so it's just going to be up to the top and then the little first line. APD were good. They sent me out some of the 75, I think 7590, 7590 stuff that goes into these. So we've got enough for that now. We've got the 2 of those, so we're going to get it filled up, back up to 1.1 litres, not 100 mil, and be ready to go back on the road again. So what I've done is I've just hooked that inside there, just enough so that it's going to pump inside and not splash back out at us. And we've got the pump nicely neat outside here so that we can stand outside the car and pump it in without having to stay underneath the car. Yeah, so that is that in there. So it's almost onto the bottom. We put about 1.11, well, 1 point, just over a litre of oil in there. So I'd say we've probably put about a litre in there, maybe 950 mil. So there was probably about 200 mil left in the box that just wasn't coming out. Maybe less, maybe 100 mil. So I'm happy now that we've got all of that back in there. It was dripping back out that hole. So I know we're right up to where we need to be. So we've got the bottom drain plug done up now. So it's just putting that top one back in. Now, as we put the threaded sort of bolt remover on it, those are obviously the left-hand threads. So as we do it up, when it hits a certain amount of tension, it's just going to release and just spin back off of it, hopefully. That's hopefully going to not allow it to go up too tight into that bodywork, because obviously as soon as it starts getting too much tension, it's just going to whiz off of the head of that bolt. So that's going to stop us over tightening it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that new bolt to arrive, take it back off again, and re-put the new one back in, but I might... but yeah, last little bit, getting that bolt on, and we are done. So now we're going to do up that bolt like I said before. I'm going to go extremely slow, and what should happen is that socket should break away from the back of that bolt. There we go. So I don't think that over tightened it, to be honest. It felt about right. I got this on a fairly low setting. So I'm going to clean it up and then make sure nothing's leaking out of it. Yeah, so that's it all done, guys. So thank God we had these from my dad. Like I say, when I was doing it back up, I had the guy on quite a low setting, so it didn't put too much effort in. And this, because it's got a left-hand thread, when you go right, that goes up tight, and this just winds off of it. So all done, and yeah, hopefully helps out a few of you guys and gets it sorted for you. So yeah, these little rounded ones did perfect for that job.